You know, I'm well rested. I got a ton of energy. I could be doing this for hours. But I don't know how long this one's gonna be. So this time, when it comes to looking at films or at content from this time, looking back at my my top five picks from the Kids WB which was basically a television that had mostly um like shows that were aired towards kids. Anyway, the walk launched on September 9th, 1995 on the WB and continued after the 2006 United States TV enrollment on the CW until it aired for the final time on May 17th, 2008. And then Kids WB would be succeeded by the CW for Kids. One thing that can be noted is that most of the, some of the shows that I'll be discussing could be found on either HBO on Max or the streaming service Tubi. So, let's get started. At number 5, I had Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you're feeling say, wait, really? Well, honestly, say yes. I also have another anime-based show on this, because, say, we're looking at ones from the 90s and the 2000s. So, yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at my number 5. Mostly because, when it comes to, say, animes that I knew about, I believe it was either Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, or even, Pokemon as well. But at the same time, yes, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. And I think Joe had watched Dragon Ball as well. But I believe the one cartoon that, I also remember as a child was Yu-Gi-Oh! It was the first animated adaptation of the manga, and it had quite a few seasons as well. The series was broadcast on April 4th, 1998 to October 10th, 1998. I gotta say, I really love that opening intro of that, though.
It's time to duel!
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the show Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. This one revolved around a young high school boy named Yugi Moto, who battles opponents of the Duel Monster in the Duel Monsters card game. And the series had began from chapter 60 in volume 7 before loosely adapting the remaining chapters of original manga by making story changes that conflicted with the events of the, manga. One thing that was always awesome about the show is, one thing that was, pretty cool is that, yes, before Yugi had changed into Yu-Gi-Oh!, he had a medallion, and whenever he put it on, and in times of, say, okay, we're about to battle, it would go on, and suddenly he would be transformed into the Pharaoh Yu-Gi-Oh! And I can honestly say yes. We grew up with Pokemon as well, folks from the 90s, and at the same time, we also liked the cars, but eventually, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had overtaken it, and, it would also, have its own video games, but the show was pretty cool. It was actually a lot of fun, because, it had a sense of darkness about it.
Exodia! It's not possible! No one's ever been able to call him. Exodia! Obliterate!
Mostly because, like, had a sense of, like, say, almost, like, oh wow, this is awesome. Because, you had these dark card injuries. Like, you'd say, not so fast. I activate my trap card.
My trap card!
When you wake up before you brush your teeth, you gotta strap. All the time you get down on your knees, she don't crowd. Club with the bird, God blessing all the child.
Or you say, I have conquered you. No. I shall conquer. I shall counterattack with your trap card, and blah blah blah. It was a fun show. Looking back, it made me wish, like, say, if we continued with the show, anime nostalgia. I would love to talk about it. So number 4 we're gonna be looking at is the show Freakazoid. This was a show that was created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini. The series chronicles the adventures of the title character, Freakazoid, a crazy teenage superhero who fights crimes in Washington, D.C.
Hey, Cosgrove, how come you never got married?
Because I like meat too much.
You could be married and still eat a lot of meat.
I didn't know that.
The show had been presented by Steven Spielberg. One thing that it does, it is a rather goofy show. It was like one of those shows, like, say, we look back at, sort of like the show, like the cartoon Tick or The Mask. It was a show that had a sense of goofiness, but at the same time, like, this show was basically, almost in a way, sort of like, say, hey, do you know how Deadpool is? Think of this, but at the same time, it is more goofy, but not as, like, say, okay, we're not going to be violent about it.
You want to see something strange and mystical?
No! Get out of here with that watch! Lay off the poor beavers, will you? Jeez! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, jeepers!
But if you're wondering, like, say, like, how long did this show last for? It lasted for 2 seasons across 24 episodes, with the final episode airing on June 1st, 1997. The final episode airing on June 1st, 1997. With the actors such as Paul Rudd, David Kaufman, Edward Asner, Craig Ferguson, Jonathan Harris, Tracy Rowe, and David Warner. And yeah, like, I have to say, like, yeah, this is a show that I remember rather a little bit fondly.
They called me mad, insane, Wendell. They barred me from the universities until I had no choice but to flee here and conduct my research. Well, who's crazy now? Who's mad now?
Try the casserole, Freakazoid, before it gets cold.
Again, it has its, like, say, oh, this was fun kind of vibes in. Number 3 was Ozzy and Drix. This was in a way, a show that was a cartoon sequel series to the film Osmosis Jones. It's centered on Ozzy Jones, a cheeky chappy white blood cell, and Drix, a level-headed cold pill who battles germs and viruses in the body of a teenager named Hector Cruz. Because, like, like, what happened was, like, say, okay, the characters go out of the body of Frank and into the body of a teenager, and in a way, like, say, there will be, this was almost, like, say, a show that was very comedic, but in a way had almost, like, say, a action-adventure vibes, but at the same time, it would also have, like, say, okay, we're going to at the same time teach you about the body. Like, there was an episode in it which it talked about the impacts of addiction, like, say, smoking.
What's the matter?
Don't you want to be cool?
You can't resist me.
Pass.
What?
Yeah! Woo! Hector, you are my hero!
And yeah, that was one episode that was pretty great. Like, you know, it has some scary images with that episode.
Anyway, I got enough bad habits already.
Like what?
When I finish the milk, I leave the empty carton in the fridge.
Whoa, that is bad.
Another episode that is like still rather like I can think of it rather fondly for me is the episode in which Ozzy goes out of the body of Hector and into one of Hector's friends, and you know he's having to fight like a virus in a girl's body. You know, but if he stays in there too long, he'll become pink and all that. And
one question. Does this make my butt look big?
I mean, just makes you wonder like what that estradiol does when it goes into your body, though. But I gotta say, I kind of thought, like, looking back, this was a show that I always thought was pretty good. Like, say, there was an episode in which, like, say, Ozzy and Drex, like, they are, like, going up a guy who is, like, you know, almost like a general and all that.
Now I shall have my revenge!
Man, I could do this all day.
There was, like, say, a lot of goofy episodes. Number 2 was Animaniacs. This is the show that was the premiere show for the Fox Kids block in 1993 before moving to the WB in 1995. This was also a Steven Spielberg animated classic, next to, like, say, Tiny Toons. Do I really have to, like, you know, explain this, or in a way? It was, like, you know, it's a bit of a variety show in that it would have short skits, featuring a wide variety of characters.
I drew a picture of the Eiffel Tower in Italy.
But there is no Eiffel Tower in Italy.
Exactly.
Racco, what have you drawn?
It's a cow eating grass.
But where is the grass?
The cow ate it.
But where is the cow?
Well, he's not going to stick around if there's no more grass to eat.
In a way. And, like, say, you know, the Warner Brothers and the Warner sisters getting into a wide range of comedic, you know, situations, and also having elements of music moments as well.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still.
And yeah, like, this one is a bit of a classic, at least comes to me. Especially because, like, say, you know, you'd have the show Pinky and the Brain. You know, basically about a diminutive mouse, a dumb mouse and a smart mouse trying to rule the world and all that. But but yes, eventually what happened with that show would also get a bit of a spin-off with Pinky, Brain, and Elmira. And if you didn't notice, the series had won multiple awards, including 8 8-time daytime Emmys.
Alright, in this scene.
Oi! Too loud! Make with a whisper, don't with the loud maker talk.
And a Peabody Award. And, like, yeah, like, this show had, like, since it came out in the 90s, like, there was a lot of references to the 90s, and it would also come back, with a revival as well. And, at number 1 for the Fox Kids lineup was, at least for me, Pokemon. A show that, like, you know, when you look back at it, a show that, like, you know, like, affected a generation. Like, when it came to cars, toys, video games, movies. But the anime, this is a show that, like, when we think about it rather fondly, because, you know, I have been looking at some of the films, as of now, but this was a show that was running rather fondly, in that, you know, it chronicled the adventures of a young Pokemon trainer going through, like, you know, different regions.
It's a Golduck!
That's weird. It evolved fast.
Wow, cutie!
To try to become a Pokemon master, going up against others in Pokemon battles with his best friend Pikachu, as well as Misty and Brock, and in a way, meeting up others, and at the same time, making friends, and at the same time, understanding the world when it comes to the big world of Pokemon.
System, and I'll see that it stops.
Here's a picture. Huh? It's a girl?
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
She can violate my rights if...
And, yeah, it is still a classic. Like, yes, the show is still going on, I believe. But we cannot just, like, say, like, you have a ton of characters, and at the same time, at moments of the show that are a bit of a classic, and we also can't forget, like, say, how goofy the characters of Team Rocket were as well. Always trying to say, we have to catch Pikachu and all that, but it makes you want to, like, say, maybe they would be able to doing better things if they weren't focused on just capturing a Pikachu. And all that, because I'm sure they could just find any other random Pikachu too and train it.
I have to see him up close. They're both unbelievable.
Oh, thank you very much. How flattering. I like that guy's style. I'll be back in 3 shakes of a chocolate shake.
We're anxious to find out about our new positions.
Can I be a prince?
You know, I've always wanted to live in a castle.
I have no need for you.
But yeah, like, this is, like, when you think about it, this is a classic show. I mean, is it, like, say, one that, like, you know, like, we'd go and say, like, I'm not gonna change the channel and all the way if, like, say, like one of my little cousins was watching it, maybe? Probably not. I mean, I would probably, like, watch it with them. But I'll see you next time. Did you watch any of these shows? I bet you probably did. See you next time.